Hello, it's Michael, and welcome to week four. Quick overview. If I got to speak to you, I'm very happy to have met you all, and if I haven't, I would like to. What our goal was for assignment one and week one is to have the world's quickest database class, right? So we were able to create a data model, or you started with a data model from some place and it didn't matter, but that gave you a sort of a starting data model. And then you updated and changed that data model to be more and more inclusive of more data, because we want something that's kind of almost infinite, really, or at least having so many examples that you yourself could not organize it by hand. We're going to learn techniques to organize it as larger groups. And one other thing is just remember that Mural is here to experiment. I didn't know if you noticed, but I created a different kind of container here. And what it does is it lines things up. And what does this do? Throughout, we're going to be using Mural to sort of see about how easy is it to understand things. And you can see just looking here that maybe this alignment does help in readability, for example. So we're going to kind of learn interesting organizational techniques as we go, and that's intentional. And also, I like to leave it messy. So for in this example, things change their size and color, and it doesn't really mean much of anything. And these will all become important later as you are going to use your data and try to figure out which kind of structure is going to help this data be understood by somebody. Okay. I'll also say that participation early is really required. If you participate late, it's going to be harder to get feedback, and we're very iterative in this class. So there's really no way to do something poorly because I intend for people to kind of flail around and try things and iterate. That's the goal of this kind of class that's virtual, is we don't have to do everything all at once, but we can't do things at the last moment. But the hierarchy here is really where we're going to go, and this hierarchy is going to play a big role this week. Let me just spoil it a little bit, but also hierarchy is and should be what's known in a database as a primary key. So you've not only learned a little bit about data, supporting data, but primary keys mean that this set of data must be unique, and that I hope, if you're using it semantically, which oftentimes people don't, they just have a random number in there, like your photos all have a different random number. They can't have the same number as a file name. Your file names, in a sense, have to be different too. It's the idea of uniqueness, so you can find one thing, but you also want it to actually describe the thing that you have, right? Right. So it might be a little complex, but let's get to week four, and I hope that our new goals will come together, because as you learned how to do data modeling very quickly, you're now going to learn HTML really quickly. So I will tell you, this video is going to help a lot because I'm going to mark stuff up, and I'm going to use our tool. Our new tool is called JS Fiddle. One important thing about JS Fiddle is we don't care about most of it. We just care about the HTML part. You'll see there's a lot of things. There's also AI now and everything. So you don't really need help. The first assignment, the one you should actually post as quickly as you can, is just to pretend by using the column names to mark up the data. That's to get your mind around this idea, right? The column names actually do describe the data, but you can't use column names. You have to use this new vocabulary called HTML, and you definitely want to use it semantically, right? Because the internet is filled with tons of repetition. It's insanely repetitive. That's not the goal for this. The goal of this is to use this meaningfully or semantically. And there's a few articles up here about this. If you've ever heard of atomic design, this is all about semantic HTML, because semantic HTML is kind of the secret behind, well, everything really. It's the secret behind SEO. It's a secret behind how computers understand things. But the list of words, which is all HTML is English, and it's actually pretty easy. Some of them aren't useful for our purposes. I kind of gave you a cheat sheet. I'm really interested in H1, H2, H3. Really interested. That's a hierarchy. If you've never used a hierarchy before, it is literally magic. We can get into that, but if you've ever done a Word document and you've never used headers properly, this will change your life. It is, however, I'll just hint right now, H1 informs H2 and H2 informs H3. So it is a hierarchy, so you don't want too much of it. So don't go nuts. I'm not even talking H4s or anything. In fact, H3 is pretty low to describe, have something be described by something described by something. We'll get there when we get there, but start to look. I'll give you notes and things like that. And I'm really interested in groups. And these are HTML5 has these amazing new grouping things. Articles can group an entire record, right? Sections can take bits and pieces. You've got headers, footers, asides, details. There's a bunch of those descriptive groups that are absolutely really useful. One thing that is not useful are things like tables. We have no interest whatsoever in how this looks. None. This is all about what tags do you choose to add and inform each piece of data. That is the goal for this next 2 weeks. I look forward to you participating and giving this a try. I know it will be informative because when we get to the next topics, this will make a big difference. Hope you enjoy. Let me know. Thanks.